All right, welcome to the my data reporting section of my end-to-end data engineering project with Microsoft Fabric. And in this section, I'm going to use Power BI to produce a news report from the result of the sentimental analysis, which you can see here. So we have the title, description, category, URL, image, and things like that, date, publish, and sentiment. We're basically going to use this or utilize this to create a report. Yeah. And of course, we are in a Bing Lake database. You can see the sentiment analysis. If I move to the previous, you see, before we, the result of the data transformation before the sentimental analysis. So yes, we need Power BI. How do we go about this? We need Power BI. So we, I basically need to connect Power BI or to this Bing Lake database, specifically the TBL sentiment analysis. So we want to create a connection in Power BI to this data set so that we can use the data sets to build the reports. Yeah, and to be able to do something like this, we basically need to establish a connection between Power BI and our Lakehouse database, right? I think that's straightforward. And to be able to make this process go seamless, to be able to make this process work, we need to utilize something called a semantic model. And what's a semantic model? A semantic model is basically the same thing as a Power BI dataset. So previously, before it was called a Power BI dataset, but now it's called semantic model. So this semantic model will hold the table information from the Lakehouse database, of course, so that Power BI can utilize this data or dataset or semantic model to build a report. Yes. So semantic model is just very important because it can help us manage all the data related stuff, you know, such as security, data modeling, data governance from Power BI itself, rather than making any change to our data base, which is the Lakehouse database directly. Basically, we're making a semantic model to be kept separately from our Lakehouse database, and I think this will make everything easy to manage. And also, in a semantic model, I think you can be able to choose what table to add to the model instead of collecting all the tables from the Lakehouse database. So, in the semantic model, we can specifically choose this TBL sentiment analysis instead of all the tables because we're just choosing what we are interested in working with. Yes, so this way our semantic model only uses what's required, doesn't have any the extra data doesn't take unnecessary space in our semantic model and things like that. So everything is basically well optimized. So how do we go about creating semantic model? I think it's very easy. So if you scroll all the way up, you see new semantic model. Create a Power BI semantic model with specified tables and views from the Lakehouse. Then save the model to your workspace for data sharing, data modeling, and reporting. Just reading what's all the way here. So I'm going to click on it. Okay. So what name should we call it? I'll call this Power BI news. I'll call this news semantic model. News semantic model. That's what I'm going to call it. And of course, okay, disconnected to the appropriate workspace already. So now let's go in here and search our tables, and of course, which data are we interested in? The answer is the TBL sentiment analysis. So I think this we should be good to go now. So I'm just going to click on confirm. I've set up the semantic model where I want to have connected it to the appropriate data sets we're going to use for our work. So let's wait for it to load up and let's explore or let's see how we're going to start a process of making a report, a dashboard, whatever you want to call it, for our end-to-end data engineering project in Microsoft Fabric. So this is taking a while though, but I don't think it will take so long. Okay, open a new tab and it's loading up. It's loading up. Okay, so keep in mind your changes will permanently save. That's cool. So of course, off the bat, you can see what's going on here. We can see if you're using the model view in Power BI, you can see this kind of table, this kind of box stuff, and this box stuff, so to say, has all our rows of data. So category is a data is a if I say row column, all our data columns, category, date, publish, etc. So yes, this is our semantic model. We can create a new measure, create a calculation group, manage security roles. We can do a lot of things to this. And if you go all the way to data, of course, you can see your tables. You can see each column. Go all the way to model. You can just see some interesting things about your general semantic model. So let's go back to tables. And yes, what are we interested in doing at this point? What are we interested in doing at this point? So a semantic model has been successfully created. Yeah, I think from here we can go to Power BI and we can use this semantic model to build our reports. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, let's get to work. Let's get to work. So to get to work, we just go to the previous tab. I'm going to choose data Power BI in previous tab. I'm going to enter the appropriate workspace, end-to-end DE project workspace. And of course, you'd see our semantic model, the way here, new semantic model. So let's click on it. So in Power BI workspace, and we're looking at a semantic model. So very interesting, very interesting. And what you can see here, lakehouse endpoints, we can actually see some columns in our data set, and you can see something somewhat very interesting. Discover business insights. So we can actually explore our data sets. I think there are about 3 options. Also create a report, create a blank report, create a paginated report. I'm going to click on explore this data and specifically also create reports. So actually, Power BI, doing this, Power BI is just going to look at our data and automatically create a report it thinks would fit our data. So I don't know about you, the viewer, but I think this is quite interesting because just based on our data set, it's been able to automatically try to, look through our data set, like, okay, what kind of report should I create? Should I do this? Should I do that? And it just ends up doing something. So this is quite, well, I say cute in quotes. It's quite cool. But yeah, if you look at it, I think it also has its caveats. Like things like using our URL data to create a bar chart doesn't make sense. Discount of provider by title. I don't like all of these, some of these things here. But I do like the count of product provider by category, count of provider by sentiment. But I even think this one, the naming is never the correct naming. So I'd say it has its I say ups and lows. But yes, we're gonna make use of this. Not specifically this result. We're gonna individually select what data set we want to use and configure things appropriately. So I'll just click on edit. I'm just switch to edit mode. And yes, now it's looking like something we might be more familiar with in the terms of the normal Power BI desktop. All right. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to create a new page. And this new page that I create, I am going to do things in the way I want. I'm going to do things in the way I want. Basically, I'm going to create a table with all the information I'm interested in, right? After I create that table with the information I'm interested in, I will apply some things I call some filters. I'll apply some cards. Yes, I'll apply some cards, and I think that'll be all. Then I'll optimize it by creating a measure or a calculated column if necessary. So I'm going to create a table, and I want the title, the provider, the URL, the category, date published, and the sentiment. So create a table. So Power BI users, welcome. So create a table. Just going to expand it first. I don't know about how I'm going to format it in terms of the coloring, but I'll leave that for later. Don't do anything fancy. So what am I interested in seeing? So go to my data. I'm interested in seeing the title of the news. If there is, okay, it's a news title. I'm interested in seeing from the title, I want to see provider URL. So provider URL next. After seeing the URL, I also want to see the category, date published, and sentiment. Category, category, the date published, and the sentiment. I think this will be all cool. And of course, you can see how it's showing up in Power BI. So I'm just going to adjust the width so that everything can be able to show in one go. I'm just adjusting the width so that I'll be able to see everything properly at once, or just the width in Power BI so I can probably see what is going on. Okay, now I'm seeing, I think, yeah, now I can see the full scope of things in terms of the headings. So nothing is so hidden that I can't see what's happening. So I like this. I like the way it's going. And I will apply a filter, a date filter. So I'll apply a filter, a date filter, you know, or will I say slicer? Yeah, slicer is a good language for it. But yeah, it's going to filter my data via the dates. It's going to filter my data via the dates. All right. Fast forward to what we have here. I just basically arranged everything properly. I just put basic colors, basic title. This is the sentiment on the card, and this is the title. These are the the details, the titles, the date, published, sentiment, neutral, positive. Yeah, so this is just what I did. And to complete this, I didn't really show this process because it's just editing, basically. So important processes that I need to do. I need to make sure I filter everything by the appropriate data. I'm going to filter this card by date published because I want the latest dates, right? So I'll say top N, top one what? Top one date published. Apply this. It's going to show the latest day for the card. And for the table, I'm going to do so to date published. Okay. Top one, that's top N, and top one date published. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to apply. So our data, yes, so it's filtered by the latest date. At this point in time, I am quite satisfied with my dashboard reports. So what did I do? I just basically changed the color of some items in the table. So, but what did we do? Like, let's retrace our steps. So we created a measure for the card, showing us the positive, negative, and neutral sentiments of the news. And we filter the card and the table to always show us the latest date published. We also have a slicer all the way up there that we can slice or look into the data by day. So I'm quite satisfied with this process of, dashboarding or report creation in Power BI. And from here, we go to the next part of our data engineering end-to-end project and fabric. Thank you very much.